At 6 minutes after 9 o'clock, good morning. And this is the final hour of Kenya's biggest conversation this morning, and where we take an hour to be able to, I'm not even calling it an hour, but take time to then be able to pay tribute to our friend, our colleague, our brother, and definitely an icon in our industry, one Sir Edward Kwach, who passed away the night before last. And after an illness, and many questions are coming in terms of what happened. And today is where we take time to remember him. And of course, there have been many requests for folks to then be able to call in and speak what you know of Edward and the impact that he had and the moments that he allowed each and every one of us to share with him. It's a hitting loss here at Spice FM and the Standard Group, and not just here, but at the industry in this country, which he touched through the years of his career and the years of his life. And so we take this time to be able to share in that with each and every one of us. So yes, we give a moment, and we'll give many moments for folks to then be able to call in this morning. And it's 0719 012 600. That's 0719 012 600. As you tell us what you remember, as you tell us the moments that you enjoyed, and as we share with one another the impact that he had on each of us. And even as we do start that off in this room, Siti, I think the proverb for today, I'd like you to share that with us just one more time, even as we hear that.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week are from the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. The proverb: a friend is someone who shares your happiness and your sorrows. And what we are remembering are the times that we shared. And times in any human life always has moments of happiness and moments of sorrow. It always does. When you think of Edward Kwach, a man who at the best and at the worst of times always bursting with energy, and was someone whose presence could not be ignored no matter how hard you tried, and whose views were always interesting. Some would say contrarian, but they were interesting because he would speak what he thought was true and what needed to be said. There are those who will say that that is the currency of this particular industry, but it isn't always so. There are those who in this industry go by the currency of compliance, but Kwach wasn't one of those. Kwach was one of those who held true to the dictums of just the simple word freedom. How you express yourself, when you express yourself, and that will be missed. Because a talent such as that is built over a long period of time. A talent such as that and the audience that is captivated by the offering is also built over time. And it is not that the audience is lost, but we who have worked with him feel that loss very directly. And if we feel it this directly, then we marvel and we wonder, what must the family feel? Because that is a gap that will never, ever, ever be filled.
You see, I grew up listening to Kwach back then when he was at Nation Media, and would sit with my old man listening to music because he loved slow music, and Kwach was there to bring it out. And I remember the first time I met Kwach here, and Shap Shap Yama, Kusawa, Baba, Kusawa. So he used to call me Jakababa. Jakababa, Asetro, doing a great work. That was pretty much just Kwach for you. He was babbly, he was always happy, but he was never conformist. He used to speak his mind. You mess up his show, he would tell you on his face. I remember there's a time we were doing, I was reading the news, and there was a technical hitch. He walked out, came to the studio. Jakababa, what happened? Why are you messing up my show? Kwach always wanted things to go right because his show was his business. That was his job, and he wanted to make sure everything was as straight and clear-cut, like a military would give orders and have that executed. That was Kwach for me.
Yeah. I just remember he was one of the first voices that I heard on radio when I first came here to Kenya, and then being then able to meet him and then get to know who he was through different other circles outside of media, and then coming, interesting enough, just being part of his presentation, and then coming here and then working with him in the same space where we then got to bump heads, share ideas, and just be in each other's space, and then being able to listen to him and the maestro that he was behind the mic was just great to then be able to do. And I know that perhaps it sounds as though it's really cliche that you say these things when somebody is no longer with you, but that, I guess, is part of the practice of human nature, that you rarely are in situations whereby every day when I see you, do I tell you how wonderful I think you are? And I think that perhaps it gives us an opportunity to actually change that I should be able to celebrate you when I see you, and that I don't have to then deal with the torture of not celebrating you when you can't hear the words that I speak. I mean, it would be my greatest desire today that Edward then knows the thousands of people who in the last 24 hours have talked about how wonderful they feel that he was. It would have been my greatest desire that he heard those thousands of things when he could. But I do believe in the divine, and it is my hope as well that this which we say can reach his ears in some way. That he is definitely one to be reckoned with when it comes to the work that we do, when it comes to this thing that we do behind the microphone every day. I think is unquestioned. And I was just reading through the things that people said yesterday and just listening, to the things that people said. And you don't get many like that. In an industry, in one country at the same time. You don't get many like that. And for him to be able to do what he did with the voice that he had and the command that he bore was then definitely something great to be able to experience outside, and then meet him, and then be in the space with him as regularly as some of us got an opportunity to do is a gem, and things like that don't come along. And once they do, it's like a comet. When it comes, you then take the advantage of it and you go with it as much as you can. So, I mean, surely he will be missed here at Spice FM Home, at Standard Group, but the industry will miss him in terms of what he was able to do. And I mean, as we go through this tribute hour, I'm definitely listening to some of the things he did and how he did them. And then also hearing from you as you call in. And just to share that number again on 0719-012-600. That's 0719-012-600. We'll hear from folks who actually did, work with him in a close capacity, and those whose lives he impacted in terms of him wanting to be intentional about the things that he did. However you took him. He wanted to be intentional about the things that he did, and it comes as a huge loss to us. It comes as a huge shock to us that he went the way in which he did and at the time in which he did. But there are many things that we will remember him for, and I'm glad that we have the opportunity to remember him. And things like this also always give us an opportunity to say, you know what? If I love you today while I see you, I have to tell you that I love you. If I appreciate you today that I see you, I must tell you that I appreciate you, because life is fleeting. You never know when it'll go.
So Friday, you remember I left the office early because I had a commitment in the hospital. So as I was waiting to be attended to, I see the nurse Edward Kwach, same floor, third floor, that is at Coptic Hospital. And I saw him and I was like, Edward, how are you? Same Kwach. In his blue robe. Jakababa, how are you, Bana? What are you doing here? I'm here to be attended to, and sawa. I'm also headed to be checked kidogo, but tutaonana very soon. Tutapatana. Have a good day. That's the last time I saw Kwach on Friday. Still happy, optimistic. He was shining and full of positivity and optimism. But then again, we say in Islam tunasema sisi tunapanga lakini Mwenyezi Mungu pia yupanga. Yes.
The difficulty in eulogizing somebody you've known for a while, but most of somebody you've worked with, I repeat worked with, because we tend to spend a lot more time with people we work with sometimes than our own families.
True.
Simply because of the nature of the work that we do and what is required of us to actually get things done. It is difficult. It is difficult because the understanding and the realization of mortality is always difficult. It is always difficult because what comes to mind is what could have been done to avert it, what else could have been said, an approach that could... all manner of things which often just point to regret. And the truth is that in many cases there's not much else that could have been done, but it doesn't stop us from thinking and wondering and worrying and asking those questions. And these are the clearest reflection that the person that has died is already being missed. The person who has passed away, and that gap is already being felt. And you're wondering what to do next, because usually this is not something that you're prepared for. We were told that he was to be discharged just the evening after he then passed away. So most of us knew that we would be seeing him in the studio sooner.
Yep.
Yeah.
At some time not too long from the time that we're speaking of. So when instead of the discharge, you then get the news that he has passed on, that takes some serious adjustment. It takes some very serious realignment in a direction that your mind wasn't in. And in short, it throws you off.
Yeah.
But the throwing off is good because it tells you that this is somebody who was important in your life. This is someone whose contribution was valuable and whose contribution was something that you are most definitively and certainly going to miss.
Well, I mean, we all share in this, and there are many thoughts that have come out, like I said, over the last hours, and getting to a point where we start to share some of these thoughts. And, you know, I'm going to say your names, even as you do some of the things that you then have said to him. Agola says, Kwach was good at what he did. I got to interact with him on the Spice Drive a few times. Very funny, honest, spoke his mind, not dismissive. He will be greatly missed. Rest in peace, Edward Kwach, says Angela Courier. Charles Mobili says, Edward Kwach, God rest your soul. You will be missed. And I know those continue to come in. It breaks my heart to hear that Kwach is no more. I loved the Spice Drive with Kwach in it. His voice, sharp, sharp. Jakababa, those are the things we used to hear. Rest in peace, Edward Carey Francis Kwach. And this is from Peter Kip Korir. Dr. J.B. Owala, rest easy, Kwach, the leopard. Very saddening to lose this great journalist. Josh Musio says, he used to say in his characteristic baritone, sharp. I will miss that. It is obviously not sharp. Edward Kwach. May he rest well, says Kiki. Rest in peace, Kwach. My sincere condolences to the Spice FM family. Polini Sana. May his soul rest in peace. From She, the Patriot, you ask. Edward Kwach is no more? Yes. May he rest in peace. Polini, guys. It won't remain the same without him. Sam Gitonga says, this one is a rough one to take. A giant in the media industry has rested. Been his fan forever. May he rest in peace. We're going to continue with those, and we're going to read them out for people to hear in public what it is that Kwach was all about. But we're going to actually show you his very first show on the Spice Drive here on Spice FM 4 years ago, and listen into what it was.
I'm used to social media, but I'm not used to the camera. Indeed, I'm back. I'm nervous as hell. But they say it's like getting on a bike, ain't it? Well, it is me, Edward Kwach, on your Spice Drive. How have you been? You good in the hood? I'll tell you, since the last time I was on radio, things have changed because now it's audio and visual. I'm used to social media, but I'm not used to the cameras. Can you see me? Can you see me if you're on the social media? But you know what? It's going to be a great show. Nyabo is not in today. You know what? Because apparently she's gone back to Kampala. Apparently she's trying to sort out something with Kaguta. But you know what? While she's away, we'll just do this, you and I. Are we good to go? let's start this off as we did back in the day, all right? Now, these were guys from Boston, Massachusetts, and they got back together for this reunion album. It was Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, and Ralph, and of course, Johnny Gill. And you know what, as I've been gone for a while, so just let's do this. I'm nervous as hell. It's new edition, and oh yeah, I'm back where I belong. You ready? Let's go, Twendekazi.
One of the many Twendekazi moments with Edward, and that was it. He was, authentic from the get-go, and he let you know how he was feeling, and that's one of the things it's interesting, one of the things we were taught, Radio 101 was, speak into the mic as though you were speaking to one person, and be authentic in who you are, and then that's how you get it. So we're having this in loving memory of Edward Carey Francis Kwach, who graced your airwaves, not just here, but across the country, and was able to, craft his trade behind the mic and touched many hearts with his authenticity, and then also made sure that, folks got to get to know a little bit of who he was every time he was behind the mic. We're going to continue with a lot of the tributes that are coming from you this morning. May his humble soul rest in peace, says Thaddeus. Gladys Moshiri says, go well, Kwach. Kwach's laughter will live with us. That's the truth. Rest easy, champ, says Kutuni Joanne. My deepest condolences to family and friends. We loved him so much. He once hosted me at karaoke night a while back. He often did that. That was Larry Oching. Rest easy, sir. Sad, says Hold. Rest in peace, Kwach, says Msafiri. Really enjoyed one of the last interviews on the DRC adventures. Rest in peace, big man. A true hero of resilience. Danton Muchemi says, I can only imagine the pain. May he rest in peace. Keep up the good work even as we continue. One of the most iconic presenters we've had over the years, says Sir Alano. This one is tough. We're all going to miss his voice on the radio, not forgetting his powerful and insightful interviews. Fly with the Angels, Kwach. Poleni Sana, may he rest in power, says the Earth Roamer. My condolences to the Spice family. Poleni, not an easy one. Rest in peace, Kwach. So, this is what we're going to do this hour, and we're also going to be able to take your calls as they come in on 0719012600. You requested a moment to be able to share, and this is what we are doing, to saying goodbye to one of the greats and enjoying the moments and celebrating those moments that we got to be able to spend in his presence.
Clearly, I won the casino.
We're going to share one of the clips that he actually did, and enjoy the moments that he was actually on radio. So we're going to be doing that with you this hour. Here's another one before we go to break.
Clearly, I won the casino. Yeah. But then they took the money. Yeah. Because, first of all, when we were younger, went to Nagong Racecourse, yeah. For the races, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just come from Pembroke, yeah. Okay. So he said, let's go see what the Farasis were up to today.
Okay.
So it's given some loose color. Just go bet on horse number 3 in race number 6.
Okay.
Did exactly that, my friend.
Yeah.
What? I could have bought a plot in Muthega. I felt so loaded with it.
Then what happened?
No. That one you put in the pocket, then you go digs. Ask me now this one of casino, my friend.
Yes, and tell me the one that you lost.
Yeah. So now you put 1,000. You see, you bought chips.
Yes.
Kwanza hiyo zile za kwanza chips wanakupatia. You have something, bwana. Yeah?
Okay.
My friend, it figured 40 G's. And kumbuka, that 40 G's you have not put in 10 cents.
Okay.
Unanielewa?
Okay.
Ikarudi paka ikafika sijui now to 1,000. That's when you move your money from your
pocket.
Are we together?
Okay.
And that's the catch. So, by the end of that whole process, they'd eaten me 10,000 bob. Never ever again. Now those casinos, I go, I drink, and I eat them dry, my friend.
I know you find yourself laughing, don't you? And this is just who he was, and this is how we were able to experience him. How we all got to experience him on the Spice Drive every evening when he did this here on Spice FM. So it was just great to be able to share his experiences. An educated man he was, and that's definitely from what you were able to hear from some of the experiences that he did give, and you'll be able to hear a little bit more of what he did. Dennis is going to take us through more of those tributes, and we can start now. It doesn't mean that we have to wait until when, but more of those tributes that we're sharing from folks today.
So someone has just sent me like a short poem from Kwach from the UK called Jika. A voice once strong upon the air with laughter, truth, and gentle care. Now silent, yet it echoes still. Through hearts you've touched and always will. At Spice FM your soul would shine with wit and warmth in every line. A friend, a guide, a joyful sound, now missed in every moment found. You told the stories, held the space, with grace, with courage, endless grace. A presenter with heart so wide, you walked with kindness as your guide. Though gone too soon, your light remains in every smile, through joy and pain. Rest well, dear Kwach, your work is done, but your legacy has just begun.
Beautiful.
Every time that Kwach signed off, there was an Irish blessing that he had colloquialized. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always on your back. And may you be in heaven half an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
He said that all the time. Yeah, he did. And how would you not go with such a blessing?
Yes.
We're going to go to a break in a bit, but it's just fantastic to be around you, old chap. And I know that he hears these as we save him. And, I said yesterday that I call him by his royalty name because every time we met each other, it would be, hello, Sir Edward. And he would say, hello, your ladyship. Things like that, it would be things that you would hear back and forth. And he was, again, this our world where we experience him at Spice FM is part of a bigger world at the Standard Group, but also a bigger world in the media industry, whereby he then was able to split across genres of music. But the thing is that it was authentically him, and the shows that he did, whether a lot of times on the drive or other shows that he did in the presence of other people. I read tributes yesterday, and there was a similar thread that when he got a new co-host for a new show, the first thing that he would do with that individual was take them out for a meal. And here you are thinking that you were going to discuss strategy, but then he would take something totally out of left field and throw it at you. Why? Because he wanted to make you comfortable in that space. And that's one thing that we remember about him, that it didn't matter what time of the day it was, that once you were in his presence, you had the opportunity to be comfortable in that space. And that's one of the beautiful things that Edward Kwach was able to do for any human being.
And Charlene Tina says, like a straight arrow right through my heart, oh Kwach, my dear friend, my talent, my big brother, my wingman. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind constantly be at your back. May you be half an hour in heaven before the devil knows you are dead. That's Charlene and many others who continue to send their condolence messages. Andrew Ciro, rest well, my brother. We have Tome who says, rest in peace, Kwach. Kimani Njogu, rest in peace, Kwach. We have the Kenyan Unchained says, it is so emotional that we have lost Kwach, and rest in peace. Now, silent followers, you never know until you click on the profiles. Rest in eternal peace, Kwach. You are legendary. We will miss your deep laughter and humor. Ben Soul, rest well, Edward Kwach. I admired your vibe, your authenticity, and I learned so much just by listening to you at Spice FM. Your mic fader would have gone down, but your influence and legacy will forever remain part of the industry and in the hearts of many. We have Ellie King, who continues to send the messages of love, and many others who are here to just say who Kwach was. Ka Liuki, rest in peace, Jatelo, a legend in my books. A sad morning, Spice FM Drive show presenter Kwach is no more. Rest in peace. Kwach, that is Chloe Atara, and many more messages that continue to trickle in.
Yeah, and we'll continue sampling those as we go along. And we'll take a break with this one.
So as we say, may the road rise to meet you.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind constantly be at your back. We'll be 9:30 before the bloody devil knows we are dead.
All right, and wish me happy birthday, friend.
Happy birthday, Baba. Studanza leo.
Nanza Leo. See you, bruv.
Yes.
Ah, yeah. All right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Family who remembers him and of course loves him so deeply, remembers him in many ways, and the laughter, the deep voice, the authenticity, the deliberateness, the intentionality of who he is, who he was, then comes out strong, and we take moments to remember him this morning. And remember that we're going to be taking some calls from you this morning on 07190122600. An opportunity to remember him in the ways in which we can, little by little, then just makes the journey easier as we get along with that. Barry and Sean says, I will miss your voice and your company during the drive home. I did not mind the traffic during the shows. Heaven has gained. Enjoyed him lately, but also back 20 years in TZ with his co-hosts Babi Kabar and Sebo at Clouds FM. That he did, actually. Odieros is what he called him, Zungus. Yes, he did. Kwach, you were good. Rest in peace, Edward, says Felix. And yes, we will play his trademark sign out. We definitely do that. And also just hearing from others. Fred, we hear you as well. Poleni Sana says, Rajab, I will miss hearing my Kasinda from Shags. Yes, he said that quite often. And it's now that even as we hear these things, we remember some of the things that he actually did say. We're going to take some calls we'll hear from Duta this morning. Hello. Good morning, Duta.
Hey, how far do?
How now, Duta?
I did. I thank God now.
How about you?
And I'm going to say hi to everybody else. Oh, I'm very sad today. I'm just going to say one thing about Kwach. Kwach was one of the guys who was slightly younger than us when we were going out and younger in our time. And one thing I do remember about Kwach was he was not relentless of saying whatever he thought he was saying. Or I'm saying thought because there are things that he would say that made me cringe then and made me continue listening to the radio now. And he would still make me cringe because in our days, some words he would say would be like, oh my God, did you just say that? But I'm so proud that he took me down to our days when we were growing up and kept us alive, some of us older listeners. And I'm so proud of Kwach and who he made, who he was, and what an impact he made then and now. And, you know, like simple words that people would say today, like digs.
Yes.
Let me tell you. These young kids today, I remember somebody talking to me. I am in the industry, and somewhere where I started in KTN, I don't want to say much, that blew me off into my career today, is that those days somebody would write to me who was like stalking me and say, oh, where do you park? And I'm thinking, do I park my car? What do you mean? But, you know, nowadays we said digs, you know,
yeah.
And thank you, Kwach, for just taking us back in the day and just love you to bits, guys. Continue doing what you're doing, City. Keeping strong. Bado nakuona kutiwa hapo usijali ni nani. We just love you guys and thank you.
Duta, thank you very much for that. Special to hear. Asante Sana. Also, we'll hear from Matthew this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu Sana. We're keeping on. We're keeping on. Asante.
I personally, I am still yet to get over it. I think I actually listened to his first show. That first show where I expected Monique to be on there, only to hear that, Nyabu is sorting some things in UG. And the beautiful thing is his transition from Monique's show to his was so seamless. You know, what usually happens is when a new presenter comes in, the show actually dips for a while, then picks back up. I will tell you for free, I never missed any show with Kwach. He actually brought some serious energy, and you just love to just be on air. I know severally I've actually dodged meetings or excuse myself from meetings to just go sit in my car and listen to him. In all honesty, that is the type of a person he was. It is so sad that he actually left so unceremoniously. You know, there are people who we would hear they've been unwell for a while. When I remember I shared his post on the blood donation.
Yes.
On Facebook, and in all honesty, I expect to hear him back online. It's painful. It's very, very painful. You guys have a good.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. That's the impacts that it has on many. We're going to hear a little bit more from Kwach now.
Listen. Now, the things that make you go, All right. I hate people who insist and do things by force. E.g., for example, okay? If you're a dude and you're balding, but they say, you know what, to each his own. Now, I'm talking about you're balding on your kiongos. And when I say the kiongos, I'm talking about on the head that is attached to your shoulders. You know what, do a Kwach and just basically cut off all your hair. Do you know what I mean? Yeah? Just shave constantly, consistently. Because the guys that I check a layer, although you see them now, kiparangotos, yani at the top, they've got a 2 hair strip. And then on the side, they grow as much hair as they possibly can. It's like they're compensating for something. Then they've got a goat, a beard. What's up with you, Negro? Now, then, because those are for the mirrors, then I find those ones that really make me laugh. And it's a laugh a minute. I gasp a good one. You see those ones, and it's for those, the races that have got longer hair, yani rather straight hair. And you find those guys, right? So, of course, you could always wear a toupee, okay? Which is basically fake hair or weave for men, okay? But this is the thing, yeah? You've also got those people, Odieros, Chinese, Asians. The choice is yours. They now basically, because they've got that to hair on the side, luckily they grow it for as long as possible. Then they take the loose 3, 4 to 5 strands, and then they put it over that bald patch on top of their head, so it goes on to the other side. You see those ones, right? Please. Now, I really don't understand why you do that. Because as soon as the wind blows or your hair dries, you look absolutely daft. If you're one of those or you know one of those, please tell them. But now this is the one that I really do not understand. There I was trying to mind my own business over the course of the weekend, yes. But now it's becoming a bit of a concern because it's happening more often than not. Now, yes, I do understand that women also do go bald. Sometimes it's, overuse of chemicals. That happens. Sometimes it's that, you know what? You have pulled that hair so much, it's just gone. Gone. Or sometimes your hair is just thin, then you're aging. Yes, poo-poo happens. But this is the one thing I really don't understand, and it boggles my damn mind. When you have no hair as a woman, please, you have no business going and plaiting what is left of your hair into A, either braids, or 2, matutas. I guarantee you look absolutely ridiculous. Lob it off.
See what we mean about the authenticity? He was going to say what's in his mind, and that was the thing. And it's great that you can make us laugh, and you can make us, imagine the things that you speak about, and that clearly is talent. Not everybody's able to do that, and he was able to do that in a very, very special way. Some more of those tributes, Dennis?
Yeah, one thing I've learned today is kiongos. Kiongos actually means head.
Yeah.
The one attached to your,
shoulders. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
City, how's your kiongos today?
Well, I would advise you to look after your own kids.
Sad morning indeed,
Yeah.
says Jeff. Rest in peace, Edward Kwach. So sad, may his soul rest in peace, says Stone Pen. It's such a sad morning indeed. May the Almighty rest his soul in eternity, says James. We're also looking, what, my lord? Yes, may he rest in peace, says Captain. And absolutely, may his soul rest in peace, Macha Mushiri. Looking at, I woke up to a sad morning. My G is no more. Rest in peace, Kwach. The base of the mic, says Jonia. Also, I mean, it just goes on. And this is great that so many people can come together to continue sharing. Rest in peace, Kwach, says Evans Dande. Listening to these clips makes it even harder to accept that Kwach is gone. Man made his special way of telling his stories that will have someone listen to the end. How he will definitely be missed. Gladys Gishohi says, rest in peace, Kwach. You were a blessing and encouragement to many. May the heavens receive you with gladness, and may he comfort your family to bear this great loss. He spoke his mind with a booming voice, says Colorscape. Owen Karaoke says, rest in eternal peace, Sir Kwach. Eloquent and wise, you will be fully missed. Kweli maisha ni mwandamu, duniani ni kama maua. Rest in power, champ, says King Dave. It is definitely harder to bear this loss, even as you listen to what he used to say. Rest easy, Odiero. May the wind always be at your back, says Thomas. Rena's house says, I shall surely miss his voice. We actually fought about his voice with my other half. He made me tune in and call in. Thomas Olo says, rest easy. May the wind always definitely be at your back. We'll continue to listen to some of the clips from him and also to listen to some other tributes as they come in. And we'll still take your calls on 0719012600. And in terms of what happens in the next coming days, definitely then be able to share information with you, and we'll keep listening to some of the things he said. Let's keep his memory with us just a little bit longer, as much as we can, at least in this space. But we know that he will be in our hearts and in our minds, definitely forever. Here's some more of Kwach.
I was after the breakup to the ex, and she took everything. By the way, did I tell you that story? By the way?
But not in
She
detail.
left me. No. Hey, she left me with the dog 2 plates, and those are dog plates. Ne?
Allah.
My Jesus.
At least you.
Yeah,
Me just left with the clothes.
Anyway, so I furnished
Yeah.
the kitchen of the ranch. But if you come, you'll see. By the hotel brand, it's all over the shop. Spoons, knives, forks, plates, cups, towels. The bed sheets were a bit tired, but if I could carry
A good one. Full collection.
it's not wrong. Once Chief, taking from a hotel, it's not stealing.
But think of it.
They're called mementos.
No. Put it this way, bro. Listen, in most places where they don't want to be accountable when your car has been broken into or gongwad, they say, park at your own
Risk.
I've never seen them.
Management of stuff.
Yeah, they've never told us don't pick stuff from the hotel once you pay.
Hey.
So it's not, but it's not thieving.
The more expensive a hotel is, the emptier my bag is when I enter there.
So where do we start?
No, she's living in that river called denial.
Where they?
My friend.
Sebo.
Nyabo.
Those are the things that we used to hear, Sebo, Nyabo. And then there were ways in which you would always call people. So you know what? We're not going to be shy about remembering him today. We're not going to be shy about remembering him day after day. And, the different places where he worked. And this is the thing. I saw tributes yesterday from, folks who worked with him.
Yeah.
From Valentine Joroge to Sheila Mwanyige to Angela Ngwenyi, who said, when we co-hosted with the man, he would throw me under the bus, but he did that so that I would learn. And so one would imagine that when he was saying these things, that he would say them and people would wonder, why would you do this to me? But at the end of the day, you saw what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He wanted you to learn. He wanted you to do good. He never wanted a situation when anybody was down and then remained down. You can be down, sure, but always come out on the top of it. and you, as you testified to
Yeah.
that, you saw him being wheeled out of a hospital
Yeah.
room, not walking on his feet, but
Yeah.
still wanted you to be in a good space.
In good space, yeah.
And that's what we remember him for. Across radio, across acting circles here in Kenya, the different escapades that he would go to East Africa, Southern Africa, the different places from the Western Hemisphere that he was around the world, always good to hear those stories from him. And again, hit me like a ton of bricks when I heard that he had gone. And hey man, it would have been nice to say goodbye, but it was a great reminder that we shouldn't wait. And in everything that we are faced with, experiences, whether it's a close friend like Edward or somebody else who's in your space, don't wait. Every day is the day to be able to show what people mean to you. Every day is the day to be able to express these things. Regret is such a horrible feeling to have that you didn't or couldn't say something. So we have to be intentional about our love, I think.
We have to be purposeful. It is, from a male perspective, it isn't easy. We don't go around complimenting people and telling them how much we love them.
No.
We say hello to you. We have said all those things in that hello. If we ask how you're doing, we've extended it further. And if we say we wish you a good day, now we've really gone overboard. But appreciating people and thanking them for the little things that they have done, and just for the day, and taking the time to talk to them, call them and find out what they're doing. It's at such moments that you realize that counts for a great deal. And you keep saying you could have done more. Yes, and that happens because you didn't do more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think also it's the fact that every day you work together, you see him say, you come, hello, konamnagan, kusalama, do your show, back to business. But how really are you? Just getting to laugh more, being able to sit down, have a meal together, being able to just even pick, I would really have loved it to pick his mind on where he gets these words, where it's so witty with these words and whatnot. And these opportunities that now are lost, but then again, are lessons that we learn from, and just be able to be better people to each other,
Yep. I mean, for sure. Without even thinking twice, and giving us an opportunity to actually keep hearing from you in terms of what your wishes are. We will lay him to rest. We will lay him to rest, and as we continue to take some more calls from you this morning, 0719012600. Let's hear from Henry this morning. Okay, that seems to have logged off, but we'll hear from some more calls. 0719012600. You can actually call back and continue with that. He will be laid to rest. We will remember him, and even as we do, there will be moments where we'll not be able to run away from him, from that reality. Nicholas Mwigai says, rest in peace. You were simply amazing. God be with you and with your family as well. Listening and taking in some more of those. From his last presentation, he knew that the wind was coming and going to catch up with him. Rest in peace, man. Yes, Agola, definitely things for us to remember. Another legend has joined the heavens. His voice will forever remain in our memory, says What You Say. Mudhoni says, rest in peace, Kwach. Let's have his best shows and music samples on YouTube. Definitely something that's being worked on. May you rest in peace, Edward Carey Francis Kwach. Rest in peace, Kwach. Your vibrant voice and fearless spirit will echo forever in our hearts, says I Am Chris. Meshaka Simba says, you guy, I will miss you. You used to call me a droga. And many other good memories. Priska Jogona says, Kwach, thank you for warming my afternoons and reminding me of who I've been. You made the past present again, and somehow you made radio feel like a conversation. Rest easy. It just continues, and they keep pouring in. We'll take some more calls as we wind down on this, but our memories don't end today, and our memories of him will definitely never fade. From Nakuru, David, good morning. Hello, Dave.
Good morning.
Yes, David.
May Edward Carey Francis Kwach rest in peace. As Brahmagupta, as a mathematician, he always made us to think in his drive in his program. As a mathematician, Brahmagupta, a middle-aged Indian guru, once remarked, "As the sun eclipses the stars by its brilliance, so the man of knowledge will eclipse the fame of others when he forms and solves algebraic equations." Kwach used to propose enigmas, relationships. You see, even if you're a professor, when it comes to matter relationships, you'll be down. So he used to propose enigmas, enigma or enigmas, and his fans we could find it hard to answer, but he could give us the solutions. That's how I remember Kwach. May he rest in peace. We love him.
Amen. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you.
Asante.
Thank you so much.
We'll keep taking more of those as we go ahead and as we wind down in the last few minutes of this conversation this morning. And for those who are just tuning in or haven't heard or haven't then been able to know what's really going on, is that on the 28th of April, Edward Kwach, our dear friend, our brother, our colleague, passed on after a short, after an illness and after battling for a while with this illness. And he passed away on the evening of the 28th. And we remember him as one who graced the airwaves over the years. His last stint was at Spice FM here at the Standard Group. And we as a family, we mourn him. As his friends, we cry at the loss. And it's just great to see that so many people remembered him, not for something else, but for who he was. Yes. And I think that's a great thing, that for who you are, you can be remembered, and the way in which it touched many people's lives. The thing that you're able to do behind the microphone, where you're speaking to thousands of people every day, and that he used that to impact the lives of people. I don't think there can be a greater story about you. And so the next coming days will be difficult to deal with, and we're going to hear a little bit more from him and who he was and the things that he did, even as we round this out. Your tributes keep coming in, and we keep hearing from how we'll be able to say goodbye to him, and just a little bit more as we come. And we'll just hear his last message as we do. And just looking at the industry that he impacted, and that's what I was going to say, that as we leave Spice FM and as we leave the Standard Group, we're going into an industry whereby he touched the lives of very, very many people with the things that he did with his career. And it was in media. It was using his voice to then impact. However you want to look at it, it was using his voice to then impact.
Yeah, and let me just read a few messages that are coming in. Till you meet again, brother. It's Polite Baba, that is Martin Kariuki. And we also have Duncan Maina, Safiri Salama, Tutonana Badai, Kariuki, rest in peace, Jatello. Our Spice Drive will never be the same again. Shine your way, champ, that a true master. That is BN Bomagi. And Mike Mwangi, this guy was a legend. He made Spice Drive spicy, his energy, eloquence in the middle. And yes, we agree. And we continue with I am Marlon, rest in peace, Kwach. Go well, brother, you forever loved and will never be forgotten. We're grateful that you chose to share your gift with us. You've left a mark, and the hashtag Kwached continues. That is Linda Louisa and Onyx Cypher. Gonna miss that voice, says rest in peace, Kwach. And Chemar, get peace in your bathrooms. That is as well as what Kwach used to say in the show as well. And radio is never the same without you. That is Kalamu Yagalana. And Dan Ongoma also expressing his sadness, saying Kwach was a great voice and rest in peace. Paulini Sana Spice FM for the loss. That is Stan Davies and many who continue to send their condolences. Anthony Madenge says, we mourn, we remember, we celebrate, we pray the good Lord rest his soul in peace. How about Candle in the Wind 1997? It's a request that to be played.